Hello, welcome to Nick's School. I am Nick. How are you doing? What is your name? We are going to learn about solids, liquids, and gases. All the matters in the world exist in these three different forms. There are other minor forms, but most importantly, we need to learn about solids, liquids, and gases. Let us start off with solids. Solids, as you can see here, a block of iron, that is a real solid object. A solid object maintains its shape. It does not change its shape unless someone takes a saw and cuts it. And another important aspect of solids is the particles inside this solid are very densely packed. These are like individual particles in this iron block. They are all packed together like sardines. So they are so closely packed, there is no space between these particles. That's why it is called very dense. The density depends upon the number of particles per square inch or cubic inch or feet. So in solids, the particles are extremely densely packed. That's why the solids weigh so heavy. When the solids get heated to extreme degrees, then it can expand just a little bit. That's why if you look at the rail tracks, when two rails are joined together, you're going to see a small space, maybe like an inch between the ends of the rails. So during summer, when the rail tracks get real hot, then they can expand without bending the rails. So that's why you see a little space here. But for the most part, the solids don't expand. They don't change their shape, and they are densely packed. And solids maintain their size. Next, let us look at liquids. Liquids, on the other hand, can change their shape. If it's in a tall glass, it takes the shape of a tall glass. If it is in a short glass, it takes the shape of a short glass, like a cylindrical here. If it's in a vase like this, it's going to take that shape. Look at the water here in the river. It is taking all kinds of shape. It actually has no shape whatsoever. It is just taking the shape of the river. The way the river is going, that's how the water is flowing. So water assumes the shape of the container in which it is contained. Also, the particles are not as densely packed as we saw with solids. If you remember, let's go back here. Look at how tightly all the particles are packed in a solid. But if you go to liquids, they are loosely packed. Sometimes they are sort of scattered. They are not in an actual arrangement. And another important thing is when liquids are heated, they expand. For example, if you put water in a pan and you heat it, it becomes larger. Same thing with oil. If you put oil in a pan, then you heat it, then the oil expands. And when you heat the water to like 100 degrees, then the water turns into steam or gas. And you can see in the kitchen when your mom is cooking, when the water is boiling in a teapot, you can hear the steam coming out. Shh, shh. That means the water is boiling inside. So the liquids take the shape like cylindrical here, like conical here, and this is the flask shape here, or any container that is or that of a river for that matter. The particles are not as densely packed as they are in a solid object, and when you heat the liquids to certain temperatures, it gets converted into steam or gas. So this is actually gas, and when you cool this gas, it turns into water. That is how rain comes. During summer, when the water gets really hot, it becomes steam and it becomes gas, and it goes higher and higher in the air, and when it gets cold, it becomes condensed and then turns into rain. Did you see that? That is really funny. What do you think? Okay, let's go check out the gases. Okay, here we got gases. Gases are some things you can't see, you can't taste it unless it's like a bad smelling gas, and the gases assume, like the liquids, the shape of the object in which it is contained. Here we have a sort of an oval balloon, so the air is trapped in an oval balloon, and that's the shape of the gas inside the balloon. And here we have a long balloon which has been converted into a little toy, balloon toy, and the air is long. And look at here, hot air balloon. Here they heat the air, and when you heat the air, it expands. Air expands much faster than liquids or solids. And the particles in the air are very loosely scattered. Air is the lightest object. Liquids are a little bit heavier, and solids are the heaviest objects. So based on weight, solids have the most weight, whereas gases have the least weight based on the amount of space they take. So the particles in the air are very scattered, and they are much less compared to liquids and solids. And again, certain gases can catch fire. If you have an oxygen tank and if you bring a little matches, it can catch fire. You have seen, you have gas for cooking, and when you put a match on top of the gas, it lights up. That's how your gas stove works. When you light it, it becomes a flame, and the flame produces lot of heat. That's how you cook your food. So when the light is applied to the gas in the kitchen stove, it gets lighted. It creates a flame. You see that yellow flame. And that flame hits the vessel, and then it boils the water, and the water becomes a steam. That's when you know that the water is ready for cooking the vegetables. So we learnt about solids. Here, let's go back. We learnt about solids, which are real heavy. They don't change their shape. Their particles are densely packed, and with real extreme heat, they can expand a little bit. Whereas liquids, they take the shape of whatever vessel it is in, and the particles are not as densely packed as they are in a solid object. And when you heat the liquids, they can turn into steam or gas. And finally, we talk about gases. Gases also take the shape of the container. It can be oval, it can be long, and gases very readily expand on heating. The particles in the gas are very canty. So that's all you need to know about solids, liquids, and gases. Hey, I am Nick. Let's meet again. Bye bye.